Let's have a look at how you might use Amazon for research. Some people call it things like Amazon review mining or so on. But I'll show you how I would do that. And today I am going to pick dog training as the thing that we're going to research for, just randomly. I'm not a dog trainer. I don't really like dogs. Probably more of a cat person. I used to have cats, although I found I was allergic to them. But I'm going to use dog training. And as you can see, I have my customer Zukan document here, ready to be filled out. And here's the thing, dog training is a service, and you don't find services on Amazon. And that's another reason I picked this, is to show you how you approach using Amazon if you're selling something, or if you're writing copy for something that isn't sold on Amazon. Because even though dog training as a service is not sold on Amazon, there are still products sold on Amazon that the same customers would buy. So you need to think about, what would the same customers who would buy dog training be buying on Amazon? And the obvious answer for almost any category is books. Books can tell you information to solve your problem for almost anything. So we are going to go to books, and I'm just going to type dog training. Dog training is what I'll do. Start with that. Okay, Zach George's Dog Training Revolution, the complete guide to raising the perfect pet with love. I mean, that sounds a little faffy. I don't know, raising the perfect pet with love. It doesn't sound like about training, but I will just open that in a new tab. That's what that says in Japanese there, open in a new tab. I'm looking for things that have a lot of reviews. I see this has 3,000. That is a ton. If it has more than like 50, I'm happy, generally. And I'm happy to let Amazon do the sorting. I'm not really an expert in how Amazon's ranking algorithms work. I don't know what featured means, but you know, if Amazon puts it at the top, that's probably fine, because this is what other people are going to be finding. So open that one. Lucky Dog Lessons, train your dog in 7 days. That sounds good. 2,000 reviews. Let's open that in a new tab. Service Dog Training Guide. You know, I feel like service dog sounds kind of niche. I don't know. I assume that is something like a guide dog for blind people. So that's a bit too niche. I'm going to leave that. Dog training for kids. I'm obviously not writing for kids. Training the best dog ever. All right, that sounds interesting. 1,000 reviews. We'll look at that. Maybe we'll look for one or two more. The art of raising a puppy. Maybe I'll come back to that, because you know that sounds different to dog training. Guide to a well-behaved dog. I'm pretty sure he's the dude who... Yeah, he wrote that first one, so I'll just leave him. How to raise the perfect dog, 101 dog tricks, puppies for dummies, dog training 101. Okay, that sounds good. Oh, how many's it got? 182 reviews. Nowhere near as many as the other ones, but that's enough. So like, let's just say these four. I don't even know if I'll get through all these. I don't even know. So we'll have a look. Let's go to Zach George's Dog Training Revolution and scroll down, and we'll have a look at the reviews that we got. Okay, now, what kind of reviews should you be looking for? I am generally happy to let Amazon filter the top reviews, because its ranking systems are quite smart. These are the ones that a lot of people have said that they agree with. So it's generally more likely, I think, to filter out fake stuff. And by the way, on the topic of fake reviews, I'll let you know if I see anything I think feels fake. Generally, you kind of get a feel for it. If it's just too positive or too gushing, it's like, well, it feels like you are a friend of the person who wrote it. It's generally how you can spot fake stuff. So let's have a look at some of the reviews. Too much of the book is how to pick a dog. Portion, yeah, no. Okay. I had just hoped that the leash, jumping, etc. things addressed in the videos would be more depth in the book. I mean, that's a really small thing. I can just see that leash and jumping are two issues. So you know what the heck? I'm just going to write that down. Normally, I would need a lot more evidence than that. That is really weak. But just for the sake of demonstration for you watching, I don't even know what leash means, so I'm going to leave that. Jumping. You know, I don't want to guess. I don't want to do guesses, okay? So I assume that this means tugging on a leash and jumping on people. I assume that's two problems. And in better circumstances, I would write that under problems, but it's just not enough to go off here. So I'm sure I'll come up into this again. Not sure all the methods work. I worked with my puppy for a couple months. What are we saying here? Okay. Anything past the sit, lay down, up, and stand has not really worked, including the potty training. Okay, so I want to tell my dog that is going to go into dreams I want my dog to know how to, what was it? I can just paste it. Sit, lay down, up and stand. All right, so that is something that they want. Potty training. Potty training. I don't even know if I really need that quote as backup because it's so basic. We were still having to take him out every hour and still accidents in the house. Okay, that's good. So you're trying to potty train your dog. My dog keeps having accidents in the house during potty training. Right. Which led to our other dog to start going in the house as well. We have had 2 accidents in a month, both my fault. He's just not having bells on the door. I've also had no success with his advice on training to walk on the leash or not jump on people when they come over. Okay, so there we have more details on that. Walking on the leash. So dreams. That's something else that they want. I want my dog to walk on a leash. Again, I'm not getting good quotes here for these, so I'm just going to note down the themes. And what was the other one? Not jump on people when they come over. Okay, let's put that under problems. Some of these things, like not jump on people when they come over, do you put it under problems or do you put it under dreams? Do you say, my dog jumps on people, or I want my dog to not jump on people? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. This is just a reference that we're going to look at later, so I'm going to put it under problems. My dog jumps on people when they come over. I mean, if the quote is like exactly like my summary, I don't really bother backing it up. Okay, the best advice he gives is to exercise your dog. That's fine. The videos are very vague. So I'm not really concerned. Just a pointer here. We're not really concerned with actual feedback on the product unless they're saying things that will be useful to us. Remember, we are writing copy for dog training as service. I don't care what people think of some guy's book. The reason I'm reading these reviews is to find the mindset of the person who would need dog training. What do they want? What are they struggling with? Who are they? And what obstacles are they having? That's what I'm looking for. All right, I love this book. We had a puppy on the way. Okay, I was so happy to find training techniques have started moving in the direction of positive reinforcement instead of the alpha dog approach. That is interesting. Okay, I'm going to put that under notes because they like, okay, some of them like more positive dog training methods. So what this seems to be to me, because I do know a dog trainer and they've talked about stuff, it sort of sounds like there is 2 schools of thought in this field, right? There's this positive reinforcement one, and I'm guessing the alpha dog approach is just like you say to the dog, well, I'm boss and you're my slave, or something like that. So that's interesting just to know. You know, I might reuse that in my copy, I might not. It's just this idea that they know of these 2 schools. And obviously you can imagine, and you can see here that dog owners probably, they think dogs are these little fluffy cuddly toys and they want their lovely dog to be coddled. Maybe, I'm just going off what this person has said. But they don't like the idea of harsh training for a dog. Alright. No, nothing interesting. He already knew sit, lie down. Yeah, okay, so I just want them to learn a lot of words. I'm just going to keep all those commands. Okay, so this is he already knew sit, lie down, roll over, look at me, shake, stand and stay. Now he's 6 months and we've added leave it, high five, bow, up and off. We're working on sit pretty. So you know what would be cool? What would be cool? Okay, so I'm going to change this one. I want my dog to know how to sit, lay down, up and stand. I want my dog to know how to obey commands. I'm going to generalize that. And that, what would be cool is if we can promise, like, here are all the commands that you'll be able to teach your dog how to do. That would make a really cool line on a sales page. So I like that. Okay, here is a review that looks fake to me. Dogs have a lot to teach us about unconditional love, play, learning to enjoy the small things in life, and not holding grudges. We also have a lot of things to teach our pet, but how... This sounds like you are writing a book review. I don't know what this is. I've seen reviews like this before. It's like they are doing a professional review. I'm not saying they're necessarily biased, but it just doesn't, it triggers me as something a little off, right? It just doesn't sound like a natural person who's got on. And they finish it with, I would definitely recommend this book to anyone with a puppy or adult dog. It sounds like a scripted review somehow, so I just don't trust it. Oh, look at this. Suddenly realize that you haven't a clue how to relate or to train your new dog. This book was my solution. When I first brought my 11-week puppy home, we looked each other in the eyes and I realized in horror that I didn't have a clue how to communicate with him, and he hadn't a clue what the heck I was trying to say or get him to do. Painfully aware that this very cute tiny bundle of fluff was rapidly going to turn into a large breed adolescent dog, I scanned the internet for a book that would help me get the poor petrified thing under control before I bumbled into making one mistake after the other. Thank goodness that in my panic I stumbled across and bought this book. Okay, these kind of reviews are awesome because he's telling a journey. That's what we want copy to do. We want to tell a journey of transformation. And sometimes you get reviews like this that do that. They talk about, here was the problem I was in, and then I discovered the product, and here's what happened. So it's kind of a testimonial setup. They're really useful for us. So I like this. I'm going to keep this whole thing, just so I have it in one piece. I'm going to pop it under stories. That's kind of what this stories part is for. So just go, you can see that this document gets huge. Something I hate about doing market research is you end up with this massive document, but what the hey. All right, so we looked each other in the eyes and I realized in horror that I didn't have a clue how to communicate with him. This might make a good headline somewhere, it's sort of a case study, but let's just put this in problems. I have no idea how to communicate with my dog. All right. So we're starting to build out a bit of a roster of what problems they're having. I mean, this is slow going, as you can see. I feel like we've not dug into much deep stuff yet. Partly because I'm narrating this out loud. I would be doing this 3 times faster if I weren't reading stuff out. I'd probably have gone through several pages worth by now. Okay, painfully aware that this... Yeah, thank goodness, in my panic, it's a refreshingly modern, positive approach to demystified. What to do before you even get your dog, right through easy to follow guidance on how to tackle a range of issues. The book blew my mind away with amazing clarity how to simply relate to your dog. I've honestly been transformed from a novice puppy owner who didn't have a clue into a confident owner with an amazing understanding of where my dog is coming from. Okay, so this is interesting here. I've been transformed from a novice puppy owner who didn't have a clue. Now, I'm going to put that under identity. I wasn't expecting to find anything for identity here. Usually you'd get that from, reading more about a specific market, but that is interesting. A novice puppy owner who doesn't have a clue. That would be a really good line to use at the start of a page somewhere to try and identify with someone. Like, are you a novice puppy owner who doesn't have a clue? Or a letter to novice puppy owners who don't have a clue? Or ever feel like, as a novice puppy owner, you don't have a clue? Or something like that. You see what I mean? It would kind of open copy well. Into a confident owner with an amazing understanding of where my dog is coming from. The look in my dog's eyes that I now get what he's feeling or needing or tempted by. You can predict what he's about to do and have some chance of preventing it. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I want to predict. Now, okay, you might be saying, well, how can you call this dreams? He may not have known that this is what he wanted. It doesn't matter. If it's an outcome they can get, put it under dreams. So, predict what my dog does before he even does it. Okay, because you just want to paint this fantasy. So if it's a thing that people say that they ended up with and it was a great solution, even if they don't know that's what they want, when they read it, they can recognize that's what they want, right? If you read someone saying, or a sales page that said, do you want to be able to predict what your dog does before he even does it? See the look in his eyes and understand what he feels or needs or even is tempted by. You would read that and you'd be like, yes, I want that. So put that under dreams. So this is a really good one. let's just go into SEO reviews. I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit so I don't take forever on this. Okay, now, here's a thing that people often ask. What stars should I look at? Should I look at 1-star reviews, 5-star reviews, 2, 3, 4-star reviews? I've seen a lot of range of opinions on that. I mean, I think I generally find that, well, in general, longer reviews are the best, but 2, 3, and 4 are better. Like when you look at 1 and 5, you know, 1s are just random. There's any 1s here? Good read if you want your dog be in charge. Okay, so you sound like an unhinged person, Mr. Raphael. I'm trying to make this text bigger for you. Hopefully you can see it. I mean, really? This guy's pathetic. Everything is about positive reinforcement with him. It's just some rant. So that's why a 1-star review is probably not the best. Let's see if we can whip through and find anything else more interesting. Not sure. I read this. Okay, am I just reading ones that I read? Okay, I'm not exactly the smartest Amazon user. Zach George sells out to P-Pad Company. Okay, yep. You must get this book. Okay, so 5-star reviews are not impressing me today. Yeah, okay, I'm going to filter it. I'm going to go to 4-star reviews. Let's look at 4-star reviews. Very useful book for all dog owners. There are only 2 reasons why this book gets 4 stars instead of 5. See, okay, here's why 4-star reviews are good, because people say things like that. Here's why I deducted stars, and then it's like nuance. It's unnecessarily prejudiced against the use of negative feedback in training. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. If you raise a healthy, happy puppy, you may very well never need to use negative stimuli or physical corrections in your training. But for people adopting dogs with serious behavioral problems and/or aggression, there may be no alternative. Okay, so remember before, there was that person, and I wrongly surmised that people like these more positive dog training methods. But that is not true. Look, this person disagrees. This person has a problem with it using positive training methods. So that is interesting. So some of them like more positive dog training methods, and some do not. There seems to be a debate in the dog owner community as to the correct motive. And there is one that seems to be the alpha dog approach. Hard. Positive reinforcement. Nice. Okay, I mean, I'm kind of surmising this from just 2 comments, as you can see, but sometimes you have to kind of try and identify patterns like that. So can you see what I'm doing? I've sort of added some nuance to that, and that's interesting to know. See, that if I were writing a longer form sales page, that would be a really interesting discussion to break out. And if I assume as a trainer you would have a philosophy, you would stick to either this alpha dog hard approach or you'd have this nice approach. And you would obviously want to argue the case for your particular thing. So you could have a little discussion on why you agree with the particular method that you use. Okay, so this person actually says it is unnecessarily prejudiced against it. So some people actually think this is better. So I just keep that note there. Secondly, he tends to obfuscate the reality of gene-based behavioral differences in dogs. Yeah, that's not relevant. A great book on training your dog without punishments. I'd recommend it to anyone. Okay, it's looking like this book seems to have quite a bias to that. I followed it for several months. I can tell you his reward method does work amazingly fast. Just don't expect the puppy to behave like an angel. You need to keep him nearby at all times, and you can reward him when he does behave well. Don't try to train a puppy that needs exercise first. Yeah, this is just advice. I love this YouTuber. Okay, so when I see that, I love this YouTuber. I guess this author is a YouTuber, and this is a biased review. So this is someone coming in who already knew the person. I'm not going to read that. I've been watching his YouTube videos. Yeah, I don't want to. It's good for the very basics. If you want a really good heel, not so much. This will get you and your dog on a loose leash walk. I've been able to show my dog what to do with this advice, but I don't find it helpful in teaching him what not to do, such as leash pulling, barking, chewing, and other problem behaviors. Okay, so one thing I've been noticing as I've been recording this video for you is like, heck, I'm not really finding many problems. I know that dogs do heaps of insane stuff, and we haven't stumbled across anything in 20 minutes. Because, again, I'm narrating. I would have found it by now. I'm just trying to do this out loud for you and show you my process. So pulling, barking, chewing, and other problem behaviors. I'm just going to pop them in the Zukan. Pulling, problems. So I actually think this is big stuff. What was it? Pulling. I'm sure I'm going to get stuff for each of these. So I'm going to split them up. Pulling, barking, chewing. I found it amazing when my dog learned how to ring the potty bell in about 5 minutes. Okay, that's cool. That would be a cool treat. A potty bell? Like dogs ring a bell? What the flip? I mean, I don't know if you've seen it yet. I can't remember if it's before or after this video in the course, but it's before this, so you've probably seen it. My little video on market sophistication was how to train your cat to speak English. Who would have thought that you can actually get that to happen? My dog learned to ring the potty bell. I can't believe the bell that dogs ring. It's so funny. In 5 minutes. Okay, so that would be an awesome thing to promise. Let's have a stop and look at this already, because I know this is going kind of slow. Hopefully you're watching this on like 1.5 speed or something. But look already. Imagine if I just stopped here. I will go a little bit further so we get a bit more detail. But imagine if I stopped here. I could probably get a bit of a page out of this. You a novice puppy owner who doesn't have a clue? Maybe your dog, maybe you're really struggling with your dog. He's pulling, barking, chewing on shoes. He keeps having accidents in the house during potty training. And when people come over, he jumps on them. Worst of all, you have absolutely no idea how to communicate with him. And he doesn't have a clue what you're trying to say or get him to do. Does that frustrate you? Well, check out our dog training. In just 6 weeks, we'll blah, 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 talk about the service. And after that, you'll be amazed at the transformation you see. Suddenly, imagine your dog is able to ring the potty bell. In 5 minutes would be a weird claim there, but your dog will be able to ring the potty bell. They'll know commands like sit, lie down, shake, stand, stay, leave it, high five, and plenty more. They'll be able to walk on a leash, and best of all, you'll be able to predict what your dog does before he even does it. You'll be able to look at his eyes and see what he's feeling or needing or even tempted by. Yes, you'll be able to predict what he's about to do and even be able to prevent it. Imagine that. And I haven't even got the obstacles here. And then you can talk about, notes on my method. You can talk about what approach you took, whether it's alpha dog or positive reinforcement. And I would go, look, you may be thinking X, and I'd be talking about obstacles. I just haven't run into any yet in this. But can you see how we are already building something that could be a bit of a sales page or a landing page? Now, I know that I have a very patchy understanding of the problem of the market so far. Because remember, my rule is I keep doing this until I stop finding new stuff. That's my rule of thumb. I am not anywhere near stopping finding new stuff. Almost every comment I'm looking at is digging up new stuff. I estimate I'm probably going to have to go at this for another couple of hours to really flesh this out. But again, I am doing this just narrating everything so you can see how this works. But I hope you can already see how we could start to get something really cool out of this. So let's just go through a little bit more. I mean, I guess if you want to stop here, if you've seen enough, then feel free to bail and move on in the course. If you do want to watch me go further, then please hang around and I'll do a little bit more. I'm not sure how far I'm going to take this because I do not think I'm going to get to sort of saturation here anytime soon, but I'll just keep going through and see if I can find anything interesting for you guys. All right. I think I'm going to bail on this book for now because I don't want to just be too biased, and I feel like this guy has some limitations. Like he's only looking at certain ways of training, and he's only attracting probably people who are on his YouTube channel. So let's go to the next one we looked at. Train your dog in 7 days. Have a look. An honest review. Well, I would certainly hope so. Are your other reviews dishonest? Lots of stories, not just a simple book. My biggest complaint is that most of its solutions require the purchase of some kind of dog training equipment. Bingo bango, there we go. There's an obstacle. Everything from a clicker to a shake can to a leading lure to certain types of collars, harnesses, and leashes. Frankly, I just want to train my puppy in basic commands and do away with a few annoying bad habits, jumping and biting hands. I don't want to have to gear up like a professional dog trainer and buy a bunch of stuff that I won't need in a few weeks' time. Oh, my heart is singing. You are writing my copy for me, D. Hoskins. Thank you. All right, so can we see what we've got here? We've got an obstacle. My biggest complaint is that most of the solutions require the purchase of some kind of dog training equipment. All right, I'm going to have that, and we're going to put it under obstacles. I don't want to buy equipment I'll only use for a few weeks. A few weeks. A week is like a week without an E, so it's like 5.5 days. Oh, stop your stupid jokes, Daniel. Right, let's go back. What else did we say? Frankly, I just want to train my puppy in basic commands and do away with a few annoying bad habits. I don't have to gear up. Okay, that's actually so good. I just want to keep this quote together. If I have to buy all this gear to properly train my dog, I'll just enroll in for professional dog training and be done with it. I love that. Look, you know, I like that so much. I'm going to highlight that one because I feel that that could make a really good line on a page somewhere. You know, frankly, I just want to train my puppy in basic commands and do away with a few annoying bad habits. Jumping, biting hands, right? Yeah. So maybe I won't highlight the whole thing because it just stands out a little too much. It's like the only important thing on this page. But I like this line. I love this line. This is such a good line. I mean, if I were using this in copy, I'd say like, look, who wants to have to gear up like a professional dog trainer and buy a bunch of stuff that you won't need in a few weeks' time? All you want to do is train your puppy in basic commands and get rid of a few annoying habits. Jumping, biting hands, and maybe you could throw in a few more. Pulling or barking. Well, I understand, and that is what I'm going to take care of for you in my dog training, Daniel's dog training. He doesn't even like dogs. He's not a dog person. That's why he's so good at training them, because he wants to get rid of them. I have not read the whole book because my husky took a special interest in it. The dog ate the book. Oh, funny. I bought this book because my puppy, I'm getting tired, man. My 14-week-old golden retriever puppy was stressing me out. I'd done a lot of researching online. Nothing was really working. Oh, look, I'm leaning in. This is a story. I'm jumping the gun. I should read the story before I copy it, right? What if it sucks? But look, see how it's like one of those testimonials I was talking about. It sort of sets up with the problem, and then they're going to find the product, and they're going to have a solution. I'd done a lot of researching online for training techniques, and honestly, nothing was really working. Okay, I like this. So, let's put it under obstacles. Nothing. They've researched online, but nothing works. Nothing has worked. So that's an obstacle because that's why, remember, obstacles is why they haven't solved the problem and achieved the dream. Well, why? I've tried, I've researched online, but nothing's working. That's an obstacle. So I researched books for training dogs and came across Lucky Dog Lessons. I don't know what that is. All right. So I researched dogs. I'm going to keep that line too. So I researched books for training dogs. So that's interesting, right? So that's one thing you might say, oh, look, you've researched books, but nothing's helped. One major problem with my dog is not, oh, this person just writing gold for me. One major problem with my dog is not knowing the no command. I read this section on it. He gives step-by-step training for it. Okay, so that's cool. So I could even have a section. Remember, these are customizable, these customers event documents. So cool features. Let's just say I want to add that. Add this slot. Cool features is step-by-step training for it. Actually, look, I just had a double take. I just remembered I'm not selling an info product. If I were, I'd do that. Okay, if I was selling an info product, I'd write that down. But I just realized I'm doing a service, and people don't want step-by-step stuff. It's a service. They just want it done for them. So one major problem with my dog is not knowing the no command. Let's put this. Does not know no. Bold you. I read this section. You can step-by-step training. I practice with my dog. I'm literally on day 1 and it's already working. My dog is not chill and I was doubtful she'd be able to control herself, but it didn't take long for her to stop going for the treat immediately. Okay, I feel like there's something in that. My dog is not chill and I was doubtful she'll be able to control herself. So I'll put that as an obstacle. Don't highlight. My dog is not chill and I'm doubtful. Okay, so my dog is badly behaved and I don't think most solutions will work. I'm taking a bit of creative liberty there and paraphrasing that. If I get more quotes, I would refine it to be more accurate. But again, these are just themes. So see, that's an obstacle because it's a reason why they haven't solved stuff. My dog is not chill. And look, see, there's this inherent distrust of solutions. She's learning it's quick. I was skeptical at how simple the training step was, but it worked. Can't wait to... Yeah, okay. It works. We have made much needed headway with our dogs out of control barking. I would be driven to distraction when the dog would bark at visitors or noises. Okay, good. Now I understand that barking is in his DNA and I can stop him from barking, but he will always bark. It took an enormous weight off my shoulders. I'm a responsible dog owner and can do what is best for the dog. That's interesting. Okay, so it looks like you can't fix the barking. It's a mental shift. I'm just going to put that as a note. We've made, and just take the... You can't actually stop barking. You just realize dogs need to bark. I think that's what I was saying. Barking is in his DNA. Okay, so why that's interesting is because sometimes it can help in a sales page to just drop a bit of information that sort of changes someone's worldview. And that positions you as an expert. So this is the kind of thing that would do that. Because look at this person. They're saying that. It took an enormous weight off my shoulders. So if a sales page said, and I'm thinking a longer form sales page. If a sales page said, look, here's the thing. Did you know that dogs are meant to bark and you can't stop them, but you need to realize X, blah, blah, blah. Now you have to be careful with that because people want the dog to stop barking and it might be disappointing to them. But if you frame it in the right way, I mean, I might actually buy this book and read it if I was serious about it. And I'd learn that and I would teach it on my sales page to look like an expert and change someone's thinking. Because here's the thing, when you change someone's thinking in your copy or in anything, in an email or whatever, you immediately look like an expert to them. They trust you because they recognize you as someone who expanded their mind, changed their thinking in a little way. That's a hard thing to do. So people remember when people have done that. Think of people that you trust as experts. They've probably given you views that made you think, oh, wow, that's so interesting. So something like that on a sales page will be super cool. And again, that would go under problems. I have barking. So what did this person say? A dog's out of control barking. I would be driven to distraction when the dog would bark at visitors or noises. Yep. Okay, so I'm getting some language for these, which I still notice there's a scarcity of language under this stuff. And maybe that's fine. Maybe I could just say your dog is pulling, chewing, jumping, and biting hands. But I like to have little specific quotes that I can use underneath stuff. Okay, you know what? I think you're getting the gist of how I do this. I'm going to go, and as you see, the rate at which I'm adding new stuff sort of starts to slow down eventually as I get more and more of the same. What I would be doing is I'd be doing this until at least everything had a quote under it, and preferably multiple. I mean, by now, this says I've been doing this for 34 minutes. If I'd actually had 34 minutes of uninterrupted, non-narrating time, I'd probably have... How many pages I got now? I got 4. I'd probably have like more than 10 pages worth of stuff. I'd be flying through this. You can do it very quickly. Again, I'm just trying to make it simple for you to understand. But I hope you see how you can do this on Amazon. I mean, this is a service that isn't sold on Amazon. And yet we just found some books. And look, you may not find books that have 2,000 reviews, but that's fine. Like, just read multiple books. I didn't even touch these other two that I found, which I probably could have. And I would have found tons more. But it's going to be the same as what I've shown you here. And that is really a way that you can use Amazon to help do your market research.